Hey everybody, welcome to the Mountain Gamer. Today I'm going to be showing you a mini module that you can add to your games of Aeon's End, and it was actually designed by the designer of Aeon's End, Kevin Riley. Now, Kevin Riley is a very generous person, because if you go on the BGG page for the game in the variants forum, you can actually see a whole list of what he calls challenges. Now, these are things that he's come up with. Some of them he says are completely unfair or swingy or whatever, but they're all these little cool things that you can try out with the game, and they all come from him. For example, he might have a challenge where it says, take whichever nemesis, let's say the Prince of Gluttons, but instead of trying to kill him by bringing him down to 0, try and defeat him instead by running out his deck. Things like that, you know, challenges. But this one that I'm going to show you today is has a bit of components and everything, and it's just a funky way to change the way that Gravehold suffers damage. So with that, let's get into it right now. I'm going to show you how it plays. The designer, Kevin Riley, calls this thing Garrisons and Survivors. I've just renamed it Buildings, and I'll tell you why a little bit later. So, oh, by the way, I've got War Eternal, but you could do this with the regular Aeon's End. So here's the little setup card here. So buildings, rules, put buildings face up at setup randomly or otherwise, in the sense that you can choose. If you want to play normal, you'd put 4 up, and easy, 6 up. So on the setup, Gravehold has 15 HP max. Now this is what Kevin calls the survivors. He's got like 15 little survivors, and as they die, you just kind of remove them. But as he said, you could use a die or a spinner, so, you know, I've just made it so that it's Gravehold. Anyway, so Gravehold has 15 HP max when you play. Next, when damage would be dealt to Gravehold, players choose if it goes to buildings or to Gravehold. I'll explain that in a minute. And when buildings take any damage, they are destroyed, even if it's less than 4, because buildings have a health or a HP of 4. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, so they are destroyed even if it's less than 4, and their ability is activated. So how does this work? Well, as I said, Gravehold has 15 HP. You'll set up 4 of these buildings. So let's say a nemesis does some damage. Let's say he does 4 damage. Well, you could drop this down by 4, or you could say, let's kill off one of these buildings. And when you kill it off, you actually activate what it does here at the bottom. So for example, when you kill this guy off, it says rearrange the turn order deck. So okay, why not? So instead of going 4 damage here, you would destroy this, boom, and then you would rearrange the turn order deck. Now the thing is, as these things go, they're not coming back. And this has 15 HP max. You cannot heal it over 15. So this gives you a sweet little decision every once in a while, in the sense that, let's say the nemesis is doing 7 damage. Well, you could say, all right, let's, you know, trash this one for 4, and now the 3 remaining damage, well, yeah, we could give it to Gravehold, but I mean, like, if you're in a situation like this, you would probably not want to give it to Gravehold, so those 3 damages would go to one of these buildings, but they have only 4 HP. So that's kind of 1 HP wasted. Yeah, I know, but it's, you know, you'd get rid of it and do something special. For example, any player gains 2 life. So that's it. That's basically it. You got these 4 buildings. When damage comes in, you decide, does it go to Gravehold? Does it go here? And they all do something funky. So let's look at some of these. Just wanted to mention that Kevin Riley made 9 of these. I added, I think, 3 more just because I wanted more options. So very quickly here, I'll just read the bottom here. So any player discards 1 card in hand, then draws 3 cards. Deal 2 damage to the nemesis or minion. Place an active minion or power card on top of the nemesis deck. If so, 1 player takes 2 damage. This is kind of, yeah. Here, Council Hall, up to 2 players may take 1 card from their discard pile and add it to their hand. Breach Mage Academy, any player gains 2 charges. Yay. Infirmary, any player gains 2 life. Thematic. Kadir's Laboratory, any player focuses a breach twice. Gem Mine, any player destroys up to 2 cards in their discard pile. Watchtower, 1 player may cast a prepped spell without discarding it. Dagger Battalion Barracks, any player draws 2 cards. Chantry, any player destroys up to 2 cards in hand. And lastly, the Pub at the End of the World, rearrange the turn order deck. So there you go. These are all small, that's the European size. And here's the card here. I actually think that this makes the game a tiny bit easier. So far, I have tried this solo, but with 2 characters, so essentially a 2-player game. I've tried it 3 times with different bosses, and yeah, it does make the game a little bit easier because, yes, you know, Gravehold can never go over 15, but I mean, when you are destroying these things, they give you some cool stuff. So yeah, I find that it's a tiny bit easier. I did not try it with 3 or 4 people, so you can try that out and let me know how it works. And if you like this thing, go on Board Game Geek and hit up Mr. Kevin Riley here and tell him that this little expansion thing is pretty fun. So try it out, let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next one. And if you want some more videos, YouTube thinks you might like the one on the left. I personally think you might enjoy the one on the right. And if you want to make sure to never miss any of my videos, I would ask you to click the middle button here to, of course, subscribe.
I had no idea I would get this far, but the fact of the matter is, I should not be president.